Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Everyone, welcome to this presentation. Creation, Khalqiyat, a divine attribute. So in today's presentation, I will cover this aspect briefly because it's a very big subject, but I will look at it from a narrow aspect. For any further details, I've quoted two books by Allama Pervez, so anyone interested can consult these books for further details. The scope of this presentation will be the focus is on the manifestation of this attribute through ourself. Aspects of human creation and those related to Rububiyat will not be covered. Those will be dealt under the attribute of Rububiyat. Now, I have put down a quote from the book Human Self and Allah, that is Mano Yazda. The linguistic meaning of khalq is to measure something, to estimate it, to make something according to some other thing, to set aright the proportion and balance of something. From these meanings, the essence of khalq is to make something according to a specific standard and estimation by creating proportion and balance between various elements. That is when we put various elements together, creation or khalqiyat deals with that. Seen from this aspect, takhliq will have two steps. One is to bring different elements into existence from nothing, for which the Quran has used the words Badi and Fatir. And the second step is to keep producing ever new things from these created elements by employing different formulations. In this, it could also be that when a thing has been created once, according to a specific order and scale, it can be repeated in the same way, i.e., it continues to be made over and over according to the same pattern. And it can be that new additions keep taking place in the created things. And in this, what is written here, we can see even in human world, we also repeat what we create from the material already available to us. The Quran has mentioned both these aspects, and I've taken it from this book. Now, I will quote here another quote, which I thought was quite interesting. This is from the book Atomic Habits. I had quoted a couple of paragraphs from this book previously as well. Nothing sustains motivation better than belonging to the tribe. It transforms a personal quest into a shared one. Previously, you are on your own. Your identity was singular. You are a reader, you are a musician, you are an athlete. When you join a book club or a band or a cycling group, your identity becomes linked to those around you. Growth and change is no longer an individual pursuit. We are readers, we are musicians, we are cyclists. The shared identity begins to reinforce your personal identity. This is why remaining part of a group after achieving a goal is crucial to maintaining your habits. It is friendship and community that embed a new identity and help behaviors last over the long run. So I thought this is very much pertinent to Tulu Islam, that over here, previously we were pursuing individual goals, then we joined Tulu Islam, and now we have become a part of a community. This is the reference. Now, outline of this presentation is, first I will very briefly go over the concept of Allah, because Khalqiyat is one of his attributes. So I thought just to recap. Some verses, Khalqiyat and some related divine attributes, basic meanings related to the root, different states of development of the human world, some barriers to takhliq and its manifestation. This will be in relation to our efforts to manifest it in our character. Allah as a creator, from mega to micro scale, some verses on various aspects of creation, points requiring our attention in relation to Khalqiyat, solving problems of life, i.e. manifesting Khalqiyat, and then conclude it. Now, concept of Allah, an outline, very quickly I'll go over it. The concept of Allah given in the Quran is based on divine attributes as we know it. Allah's infinite self serves as a model for the human self in relation to living this life. Surah Ikhlas, which is chapter 112, provides the fundamentals of this concept. If you remember, Dr. Hamid had covered this aspect very well in one of his presentations. For the development of ourself, which can meet the needs of the establishment of the system of Deen, we need the concept of Allah in as much detail as possible. Understanding by the human self or all those divine attributes which are applicable to us helps us to manifest these consciously. We can then recognize the gradual changes which are taking place within ourselves and take cognizance of these in relation to the self required for the system of Deen. So that is important, that once we are manifesting these attributes, we should become conscious of it. This should become part of our normal thinking. Once we progress on this path, we then join those who are also striving to achieve this aim, i.e., the Deen of Allah. The important part of this concept is that we constantly remind ourselves that without the Deen of Allah, mankind will keep suffering at the hands of man-made subjugations and exploitations. The responsibilities which Allah has spelled out in the Quran will remain unactioned if a Jamaat-e-Mu'mineen does not emerge. So in relation to emergence of Jamaat-e-Mu'mineen and then looking at the system, man-made system, and its flaws, and then replacing it with possibly the system of Deen, is part of this accepting this concept of Allah. What do we get by manifesting divine attributes? So some points I put down here, we can always add more. To understand the purpose of the human creation, at a basic level, we understand that why am I here? Because at the end of the day, I have to convince myself that I'm a useful creation as far as this world is concerned, and I have an important role to play in the hereafter. To know those latent potentials which are kept within us and need their realization in the outer world. We end up doing that in our life, which was previously unknown to us, and have a sense of achievement. Yeah, this is important from our point of view, that whatever we are doing, we should feel a sense of achievement. If we do not know our potentials, then we cannot realize them. And as a consequence, we will be deprived of that pleasure which is associated with displaying or manifesting divine attributes in our character. To understand our own psyche and the psyche of others, important, because those who are not aware of this will not be able to display those divine attributes. So we can always pass it on to them and help them as well, or draw their attention. It includes those aspects where the non-Quranic intellect can never reach. This is only available through the Quran. We improve the quality of our life, our family, environment in which we live, and gradually the effect spreads to the wider world. This aspect, we are already aware of it, that when we manifest them, the others notice as well. We notice, of course, but others notice as well. Our family notices, and wider community as well. Within the community of Tulu Islam, we notice the changes in each other. To understand and develop conviction in the application of these attributes lead to better understanding of the purpose of our creation and life. To know the functioning of the system of Deen and its significance. Without displaying these attributes, even if we know them, it becomes more precise and more deliberate. We know that we are on the right path. As we keep manifesting more and more of these attributes, we acquire that self which can establish the system of Deen. Probably a bit of repetition in a phrased slightly differently. As these attributes are required for the management of the system of Deen, hence these then help us to manage the system in all its aspects on a short-term and long-term basis. Since these are divine attributes, hence those selves which manifest these in the world become eligible for the help of Allah. Now the next slide will cover some basic meanings of khalq. At the beginning, I quoted from Human Self and Allah, that is Mano Jazda, and some aspect was covered. Over here, it is slightly in a more precise manner. This is from the root KHLQ, that is Khal, Lam, and the Q, that is Kaf. It means to measure for making or cutting something, to establish it. It means to see whether it is proportionate and balanced, or to model after something. To soften and smooth out something. It also means to make one thing out of another. So all these basic meanings will be in all the derivatives which come out of khalqiyat. And some of the applications which are noted here, which I've taken from Lughatul Quran, it would mean to evaluate something, to create so that it becomes balanced and proportionate and it becomes clean and smooth. It means giving different shapes and forms to elements and to create things out of them. Fatara and Bada are used for creating something from nothing and which is solely associated with Allah, that He creates from nothing. Of course, we also create, we think, and then we create. For example, in the process of the creation of man, I've quoted these verses here, creation of the universe in relation to the law of requital. Because Allah said that the whole heavens and the earth has been created with a view that man is created and the man is held responsible for whatever he does. Or in other words, whatever we do, it has consequences. So whatever we create, it has consequences. Also used in relation to customs and traditions, also in relation to physical habits. Khaliq and Khalaq are two divine attributes in relation to the creation by Allah. About Rasulullah, term uses khulqun azim, and this is an extremely high achievement by a human being to be at that level of self-development, which is defined by the Quran, extremely balanced and eminent character, serving as a model for the whole of mankind for all times, as noted in the Quran. So we should keep that in mind, that if he could do it, we all can display it, manifest it. Having children is not creation, but procreation, a biological function. So we should keep this in mind, that bringing children into this life through a biological process is part of procreation, not creation. Creation has to come through our own efforts. Now, next slide will cover important to grasp all aspects of Deen of Allah. Now, over here I've taken some verses. Afaghaira deenallahi yabguna walahul aslama man fis samawati wal ardi taun wa karhan wa alayhi yurja'un. Do they seek for other than the deen of Allah, while all in the heavens and earth have willingly or unwillingly submitted to His laws and all return to Him? So over here the Quran says that whatever is in the world, in the universe, including human beings, everyone is subjected to His laws. And since they are subjected to their own laws, whether they willingly or unwillingly, they will have to follow it. And all of them, according to the law of mukafat, go back to His laws. So important point over here is taun wa karhan. So it is up to us, because we have a choice. The other things of the universe do not have a choice, so they cannot refuse. But we can refuse, but then we have to bear the consequences of it. The next verse is وَمَن يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Over here, Quran has stated a great fact, which says if anyone desires a deen other than Islam, so it is our choice. We can follow whatever system we want. But if we do not follow the system which the Quran defines, then obviously we will not get those benefits. And the benefits of deen are those which are not only for this life, also for the hereafter. Never will it be accepted of him. So it is, Quran is very emphatically clear here, saying, and in the hereafter, he will be among the lost. So it is important that we understand this point and pass it on to others. We all understand it, but we need to pass it on to others. And we know the Surah Al-Asr, which says, Wal Asr innal insana lafi khusr. So there is a clear evidence before us that human beings are in loss and they suffer in this life from fear and grief. Ulaika jazaohum anna alayhim lanatallahi wal malaikati wan nasi ajma'in. And of such, the recompense is not being able to get the benefits of this life, which is called lanat. Lanat is normally used as a curse among us, but that is not the correct meaning. The meaning is that whatever benefits are associated with the deen of Allah, we don't get those benefits. If we don't develop ourselves, we'll not get those benefits which are associated with the development of ourselves. And we will not be able to benefit from Allah as a model. We'll not be able to benefit fully from the forces of nature which have been placed under our control. Of course, we'll get the benefits of this life, but those benefits will end with our death and whole of mankind. So one aspect is that which is normally Allama Parvez has also explained, but I looked at it slightly in more detail. And I said it's important to note that we fail to get those benefits which are associated with the establishment of the system of deen for whole of mankind. An-Nas Ajma'in, the Quran is drawing our attention that you will not be able to get those benefits which are associated with the Quran if you do not follow it. I've drawn a schematic here. One example of the creation which we see from our daily life. These are the raw materials which are available in nature. And what do? These are natural ingredients. These are always there. The human need arises because of our physical needs. And what we do is human intellect then creates millions of foods out of these raw ingredients. And we see examples of these. So one way of manifestation of khalqiyat is that we should be very creative in producing healthy foods for us. And these could be raw as well as cooked. But again, within cooked, we have to keep it in mind that the nutrients do not get lost. Precision in human creation. What we have seen around in our world is that human intellect is produces very precise things. And over here, I've posted a picture of a watch. If we look at the watch, and now, of course, if we look at the computers and inside of that, we can see the most refined parts put together to create something for our benefit. Second one is over here, there's an assembly line of trucks. We can see that how many parts have been designed. First, they are thought, then designed, and then they have been manufactured and all put together for our benefit. And over here, there is a photograph of a jet engine being produced. And then this is the water treatment works, which is membrane plant. In membrane plants, they create membranes of different permeability and force water through it at a very, very high pressure. And as a result, all pollutants in the water are taken out. Virtually, distilled water comes out of these membranes. And this is an assembly line of a jetliner. And this is, we can see all the robots working on an assembly line. So human beings whose mind Allah has created, and this mind is so precise, has the ability to create things which are complex as well as very precise. So this is important that the same precision, what we see in the outer world, human beings are capable of producing the same precision at a very micro scale. Now, over here, what I've said is, what about human selves, the refined thoughts, feelings, sentiments, and emotions? It's fine. We are producing great things in the outer world. But what about our own thoughts? What about our own feelings? What about our own sentiments? What about our own emotions? What about the thoughts, feelings, sentiments, emotions of a poor human being who has been left alone in the society? So that is what I was trying to focus on, that it's good to produce very precise things outside for our conveniences and benefits. And some of these points will come out clearly later on. Now, there are some barriers which prevent to our takhliqi cognition and then subsequent actions. First one is wrong beliefs. Religious beliefs discourage the use of intellect and reasoning. The religious beliefs really kill our intellect and reasoning. And we can see the effect of this on individuals as well as family and in the world as well. Discouraged by the environment, other human beings' own limitations. We will see that if somebody is trying to work hard or creative or doing research, the others sometimes try to discourage them, particularly if the environment is not great, because people do not want that new things should come into human life which can improve their quality of life. Lack of proper education is part of it. Education which encourages creative activity. If we put an education system which does not promote creative thinking, and as a result, then that will be hampered. I was talking to someone in Pakistan other day, and they said the kind of religious education which is being meted out in the schools is absolutely terrible, because then children come home and they question everything what is being taught to them. Inadequate emphasis on research and development, this will be an essential part of Deen. I myself worked in research and development side for almost over 10 years, and I found that it is extremely stimulating, of course, if one has interest, and extremely productive, because we require research at every level of basic research and then advanced research for producing things which are for the good of mankind. Incompetent political leadership, which is egocentric, selfish, unjust, time wasters, hedonistic, tyrannical, and we can add as much evil in it as possible, and still it will be less. So these are the barriers. Wrong assumptions about human life and its higher aim, very damaging. We think life successes are only confined to this life, and they are mostly the physical aspects of our life. Absence of libraries and unavailability of books for literature reviews in most of the world. Distractions to non-serious issues of life. For example, rituals, social and cultural practices, drinking, drugs, overeating, lack of exercise, poor reading habits, social media distractions, TV, sports. So what I put down here is all those distractions which did affect me at some stage of my life. Most decide to live life as if it will end with death. Wrong concept of successes in life. Outlook not based on the Quran. Books by Allama Pervez can help in this direction. These are outstanding books which help us we can provoke our thoughts. Economic deprivation, basic needs not met. How many millions and millions of children have not been able to, cannot make use of their intellect and reasoning just because we haven't provided them, in the first instance, the basic needs. And then, of course, their intellect and reasoning is then affected by the kind of education system we have across the world. Looking for shortcuts in every aspect of life, laziness and lack of will to overcome this tendency. Small things matter in life. If we don't take adequate precautions, we don't drive carefully, we can have an accident. Similarly, in our own homes, small things matter. I will touch this later on. Not fully cognizant of the importance of own existence, not sure that life goes beyond death. Education system prone to collection of information rather than knowledge through the use of critical and analytical thinking. This is important, that our education system is all about memorizing things. In Urdu, we call it ratta, and which is not good. Whatever information we get, we have to analyze it. We have to give it a value to our advantage for the benefit of whole of mankind. And last is inadequate questioning, accepting status quo willingly as fait accompli. In the religious world, of course, the questioning is forbidden. If children ask questions and we don't have an answer, we give them a shut-up call. But even in the Western world, people don't encourage questioning, particularly the questions with which they are not comfortable. Now, some relevant verses here. The first verse is, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا بَاطِلًا ذَلِكَ ظَنُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنَ النَّارِ. Over here, the Quran says that this universe, which is around you and your own creation, is not batil. Batil means that something created without a purpose. It has a purpose. And the only thing is that you make an effort and you will find out what is that purpose. And the Quran explains it, of course. ذَلِكَ ظَنُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Those who deny it, and we know who are kafaru, they have a lot of weaknesses and limitations, and they think the life ends with death, and this whole universe has no purpose. And Quran says that as a result, they live a life of fire, an unhappy life, a life full of grief and fear, and then, of course, have nothing in the hereafter. Now, this is a verse, a very famous verse from Surah Al-Imran. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. The Quran says, certainly in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of night and day, there are signs for men of understanding. So over here, understanding increases. So these men of understanding, the scientists and the mu'mineen, whoever pay attention to the creation of Allah, and then see the time, here day and night could be taken as time as well. And of course, there are other things associated with this as well, which are coming to light now. That is the way we increase our understanding, and we create an urge within us to go in this direction. And over here, the next verse is absolutely brilliant. Allazina yazkuruna Allah qiyaman wa qu'udan wa ala junubihim wa yatafakkaruna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi rabbana ma khalaqta hadha batila subhanaka faqina azaban nar. That these are those men that once they have got the flair of thinking, the flair of reflection, the flair of doing research and investigation, and once they found the purpose of life, then they will think about it day and night. Actually, I was listening to one of the darses of Allama Pervez, which I had missed previously. And in that he says, bir means that righteousness or Iman and Saleh deeds, they become so much part of our character, and all the divine attributes which we can manifest through our character, they become so much part of it. It is just like breathing, that we become that, because in breathing, we don't even realize that we are breathing. So that I thought was a great definition of bir. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Same, that they pay full attention to what is going on in the universe and what is the purpose of their life. And of course, Quran helps with that. And then they come to this conclusion, Rabbana ma khalaqta haza batila, that whatever you have created is not batil, it has a purpose. And that purpose, they see it themselves because their own self develops. And that is where the purpose of the creation manifests itself before us. So over here, if we see in the first verse, which I quoted from 38 to 27, Zalika zannul lazina kafaru. They think it is batil. And these mu'mineen, they come to this conclusion that it is not batil, there is a purpose behind it. And if they don't, then they will also be consigned to the fire. Because if our purpose is to develop ourselves and we do not develop that self, then Quran says you will have fear and grief. And that fear and grief is fire. Now, a few more verses here. These are indicate to the precision in Allah's creation. And if you remember, we have seen that how precise human beings are in their creation. خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. I have already covered it, that Allah has created samawat and earth as haq, with a purpose. Haq, as we know, means that something which becomes evidence in itself that it is useful, it is positive, and it's for the good of mankind. Verily, and that is a sign for mu'mineen. And of course, this is mu'mineen's job to prove that universe is haq. Second is, Alladhi khalaqa sab'a samawatin tabakan, ma tara fi khalqir rahmani min tafawutin farjil basara, hal tara min futur. Now, this is another very interesting verse, which I thought I'll share with you. He who created the seven heavens one above another. We know about it. Brother Mumtaz covered this in detail, that sab'a means over here many, numerous. These could be millions and trillions. No want of proportion will you see in the creation of our Rahman. What attracted me over here, which I probably did not notice previously, that divine attribute which has come over here is Rahman, not Rabb. Khalqir Rahmane min tafawutin. And I think we need to pay more attention to this and leave it for when we will cover this attribute, then I'll try to give it more detail. Because over here, it is pointing to emergent evolution, but I have not been able to relate it to that yet. So I'll give it some more thought, and I will invite everyone to give it some more thought, and we can discuss it. For Arjil Basara, so turn your vision again. That Quran is saying that look around and see how precise the universe is and your own creation is. And we have seen that precision is reflecting within our intellect and reasoning as well, wherever we put an effort. Hal tara min futur, so create things like the outer universe, that whatever you create should also be for the good of everyone. It shouldn't be for the good of some, because whatever Allah has created it is available to all of us. وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِهِ آلِهَةً لَا يَخْلُقُونَ شَيْئًا وَهُمْ يُخْلَقُونَ وَلَا يَمْلِكُونَ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ ضَرًّا وَلَا نَفْعًا وَلَا يَمْلِكُونَ مَوْتًا وَلَا حَيَاةً وَلَا نُشُورًا. This verse again, like the previous one where Ar-Rahman has come as a divine attribute, again it requires our more attention. So I will not be able to do justice today. It says, yet have they taken besides him gods that can create nothing but are themselves created, that have no control of hurt or good to themselves, nor can they control death, nor life, nor resurrection. This is last part is absolutely clear, that no human being has control on that. They don't have a control on the death, on hayat, if we take the life in the hereafter. And of course, the shura is related to the hereafter, that they will be put together or they will be brought back to life. But the point over here is la yamlikuna li anfusihim darran wala nafan. We know that these people, that is, let's say the people who, the man-made system, people who control that, they do have the ability to harm as well as to benefit, at least as far as this life is concerned. So this is an important point where I think Quran is drawing to our attention to something where we have to concentrate on that. If you remember when Hazrat Musa went to Pharaoh and he said that I have fear of him, that he might hurt me because I killed one of his men. And Allah says, no, I hear as well as I see as well. So you go, don't worry about it. So I think these are verses, and there are a number of other verses connected with that which we need to look at in more detail. So this is also part of creation, that there are things which we need to look at in the process of working towards the system of Deen. Now, these are the verses in relation to Deen as a system. Our participation is required to research and create further. The first verse is, Kulli ibadi allazina amanu yuqimus salata wa yunfiqu mimma razaqnahum sarram wa alaniyatan min qabli an yatiya yawmullah bayun fihi wala khilal. So over here Quran says that, say to my servants who have iman that they should establish salat and make available of the rizq provided to them. So this is part of understanding the system of khalqiyat, because if there is no rizq, there is nothing to create them. Quietly and openly before comes the day in which there will be no more time for business and friendship. So in khalqiyat, it is important that we have to speed up as well. There's no point in not making enough effort, not being able to get the results within the span of our physical life. And that is where Ar-Rahman comes in as an attribute. So Quran is drawing our attention over here in a very concentrated and intense manner, that don't waste time and get onto the job and do it. Sirram wa alaniyat. And of course, depending on the circumstances, that how you do it, but you must do it. Saleh deeds are a means to develop ourselves, which lead us towards the system of Deen. Allahullazi khalaqa samawati wal arda wa anzala minas samai ma'an fa akhraja bihi minas samarati rizqan lakum wa sakhkhara lakumul fulka litajriya fil bahri bi amrihi wa sakhkhara lakumul anhara. This drawn my attention in volume 7 for Matalib al-Furqan I was doing, and I thought these verses are very pertinent to the creation of Allah. Over here, Quran says it is Allah who has created the heavens and the earth and sends down rain from Sama. Very important. It comes down and with it brings out fruits for your rizq. He has made ships subject to you. The second aspect, that you sail through the oceans by his amr, and the rivers he has made subject to you. So all these things have been placed in our control and we know about it. But the point over here is that we have to remind ourselves that these are the things from which we have to create further. If rizq is not enough for the population which we have, or the anticipated population of the future, then we have to make an effort to create more and make it sustainable. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ دَائِبَيْنِ وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. He has made subject to you the sun and the moon, both follow their course as per law, and the night and the day has he made subject to you. Again, the same. For example, nowadays we know from sunshine, the solar panels have come out, and number of other efforts are being made to develop, create and develop more energy. And of course, Qamar at this time, we know about the tides and how these affect various stages within the oceans. And Sakhara lakumul laila wa nahara, that day and night. And there is I was reading in one of the papers where they said that during the day, in the morning and during middle day and evening, the sun rays have different frequencies. وَأَتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَظَلُومٌ كَفَّارٌ. Now, this was the verse to which I literally linked these three above verses. Over here, Quran has pointed our attention to a great reality, and he gives you of all that you ask for. So our question is, are we asking for everything which we can in our life? That is making an effort, doing research and investigating to find out what else is available to us during our short stay in this life. So that is where manifestation of creation comes in. But if you count the name of Allah, so the Quran has made it clear that don't think that you will ask a lot of things and these won't be available. You ask and you will find it. Never will you be able to number them. So Quran has made it very clear that what is left is your efforts, your questioning, your efforts to discover, your pursuit of those things which are not yet discovered. And over here, Quran says that if you don't do it, then you will become unjust and kafir. Because if we fail to take advantage of Allah's creation and not create within our life for our benefit, which can be a benefit here as well as in the hereafter, because we consequently develop ourselves, then we automatically become zalim as well as kafir. So this is important for us to understand that we have to make an effort. Even over here, for example, we are looking at those aspects of the Quran which have not been exposed to us through our previous efforts. Allama Pervez has done a lot of work. Now it is our job to build on that further. Outer universe as a model. All laws working without any fuss and noise, no chaos. If we notice it, there is no noise. The earth is moving at such a high speed, not only around its own axis, but around the sun as well. Busy carrying out all assigned tasks and creating quietly wherever there is a need. Nothing is without a purpose. Over here, I'll share something with you. There was a technician with me when I was doing research job in the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. And he dealt with the vibrations because he was dealing with sewing machines. And he said we had to eliminate all vibrations to the minimum level in sewing machines. And I asked him a question that Earth is moving at such a high speed. Does it have vibration? And he looked at me and thought for a moment and gave a pause and he said, Ijaz, I never thought about it. All is sustainable and manifests its beauty and balance whether someone is there to appreciate or not. The scales are mega to macro to micro to invisible. Allah has called himself Latiful Khabir. So we can imagine that how much is still there for us to discover it. The precision and accuracy is amazing. Even in apparent turbulence, there is a pattern and design manifested. Turbulence looks a random movement, but actually there are scales in that. And those scales, and we have now developed machines and instruments which can detect those scales. All is interrelated and coordinated. Nothing is out of order. So wherever we see any disorder, apparently we should look for order behind it. Merely understanding the functioning of the universe is adding to the human intellectual abilities and increasing its reasoning prowess. So even getting the knowledge about the way universe works, it helps develop our intellect and reasoning. We have seen the presentations by Brother Mumtaz, how much knowledge is and information is added to our mind and our memory. New creations are being added on a continuous basis. This outer universe includes the physical human body where a world of trillions of cells functions quietly and invisible to our eye. And Dr. Hamid has also pointed out this aspect in some of his presentations. There are treasures yet to be discovered and are waiting for the arrival of the system of being. Now, Allah is a Khalik. What I've done over here is that my effort is over here that we look at the outer world and what is available to us, and then see how do we fit into it. Allah as a Khalik, he has made universal forces available to us called Malaika, and his laws are covering every part of the universe, including the earth and man. And then there is a planet Earth on which we are living. It has all the resources which we know, and some we are going to discover as the time passes. Human beings and other forms of life, man as a Khalik, management of these resources. So other forms of life are for our help, for our study, as well as getting benefit of it. So we are the central players in this case because we have choice and intent. And management of earthly affairs through human hands, if we manage these affairs without wahi, then we will find the world the way it is. That is a messy world full of chaos and bloodshed. If we add human beings to it, man-made world without wahi, human creation lacks balance in distribution, creates chaos and conflicts, where he helps to provide guidance. So whatever we have, as and when the system comes, we have to create our thinking on turn our thinking on those lines where we can see how to make best out of it. Because at the end of the day, this technology can be used for the good of whole of mankind. Wahi provided to give access to those areas of creation which are not accessible. Wahi not only helps to readjust and reorganize what is available to us, and then it opens different vistas as well before us. Points in relation to Khalqiyat, how to become a partner in the creation of Allah. System of Deen requires a developed self manifesting divine attributes. So the point I'm trying to make is that even if we are a scientist, if we become a moment scientist, we have far bigger mental horizon available to us than just being a scientist. Making an intent to become a partner in the establishment of Deen, firstly, to precisely acquire that Iman which is defined by the Quran and which manifests itself through salih deeds, i.e. creating a precise Iman and then creating opportunities to do salih deeds and to be creative in this aspect. Just not confine ourselves to few good deeds of helping some people. We have to go beyond that and think of the ways to do it. So that is part of our self, which becomes creative. Next is making creative efforts to understand the finer aspects of the system of Deen. For example, creating an education system to meet the requirements of the era in which we live. It should meet the needs of the present as well as the future. So it's not about just changing the system as of today, but to look ahead as well. How can we refine it further and further? Coming together to create a Jamaat on one ideological basis, then taking this through the three stages defined by the Quran, which is Khaliq, Bari, and Musawwar. In the Khaliq stage, the initial creation takes place. In the Bari stages, then it is refined. All things which are not required are discarded and give it a refined shape, and then it comes into the third stage of Musawwar. Ensuring no inertia ever comes in these efforts, both mental as well as physical. And then create means continuous research and development based on the latest knowledge and information in every sphere of life. If we see even in the developed world, research and development is confined to the industries under corporations and those organizations who are manufacturing something. And as to very limited budget is allocated to them. In fact, when I was in the research and development, most of the jobs were on temporary basis. And I did point out at that time that if you want people to carry out research and develop new ideas, you have to give them some job security. If a person is all the time worried about his job, then he's not going to put his best towards developing ideas. Points in relation to Khalqiyat, some more points here. Becoming extremely meticulous and precise in everything from planning to its execution. We have seen that how precise Allah's creation is, and those human beings who are working for the conveniences of this life, how precise they are in creating and manufacturing those instruments and the different means of convenience. And subsequent management. Nothing is left to chance. Develop habit and consciousness to think through every issue of life from conception to its completion, and then monitor it. Merely creating something is not enough. We have to monitor it as well. We have seen it even in the human system. A car coming out from a manufacturer, they give some kind of a warranty, 3 years, 5 years. Now they are even given 7 years. So it has to be monitored, and then it has to be seen for its faults so that when the next model comes in, all faults are removed. And that is how we go forward. So creation leads to more creation. Effective risk management with health and safety aspects. This we can manifest in our own life as well. In our homes, we should see where we can minimize risk. Children going out, we should give them briefing. We should give them a phone. They should check back. So this is part of risk management. Similarly, when we go out, we should watch out that we don't slip and fall down, break our leg, and then we'll be ineffective for many days. Be creative to turn finite resources of the earth into sustainability and innovatively multiply to cater for the future population needs. Dissemination of the research achievements and sharing these at all levels free of cost, part of self-development. This is an important point. What is happening now is that all these companies who carry out research and development, they have patents and intellectual property issues. And one country does not want to share it with others. In the system of Deen, we will share it with everyone, because rather than one mind working on it, if 20 minds are working on that, there is better chance of developing it further. And it should be free, because my intellect is free to me. As long as my needs are met, I should be happy to share my achievements. If I have found out something new, I must not only share it with others, but get pleasure out of it. Free will means to create opportunities for creation at all levels. Creation of needs to be in relation to first not creating problems. So we must not create problems in the first place. all human effort in today's world is that one country is trying to create problems for others. And that is why the insurgency and this whole diplomacy and intelligence work, all that comes into it. But if become created, then need to be solved quickly, disposal of waste effectively. So part of our creative thinking is that we should recognize these things as well, and then make up our mind that we will never do it. Keep yatim and miskeen in view all the time as creative activity that not in relation to the system of deen and the hereafter will end with death. That we should not forget the weakest link in the world, which is somebody left alone, because he or she is a human being, and that is the responsibility of the system of deen, because Allah is with him or her as well. And if he is with him or her and he is with me as well, so that is where we should find the link. And this is part of being creative. We should think on those lines all the time. This is that what Allama Pervez said, bir means that it should become part of our self as breathing is part of our physical self. Present the message of the Quran in a form which makes it easy to understand the need for it and benefit. For example, compare with the capitalist system and its problems. Be continuously creative in this effort. Even small gestures matter and contribute towards our self-development. Now, creation in relation to the self. Now, what I have done over here is that I have drawn a schematic in which first we see that what is the world which is around us. There are, of course, people here. It's a non-deen world view, man-made world here. The world around us and its creative activity, we are fully familiar with it. Now we will look at the alternative. And in this, Quran plus Tulu Islam books plus outlook of deen worldview. So we take a different view now of the world, as I've explained in previous slides. And it has to be based on deen. Deen doesn't exist. It is still in our minds, in our books, and we are thinking about it. But we can create that deen within our thought process and create ourselves for that. So two have to match, and higher form of creative activity. So our creative activity should include this creative activity which is taking place around us, and then it should also be at a higher level. So I hope this schematic brings out that aspect. What do we get by promoting this divine attribute? First is human problems become identified quickly and efforts are made to solve these problems ASAP. So the first step is that we become familiar with the problems around us. Second is an environment becomes created in which public and general principles willingly and obtains the purpose of life. Then is all spheres of life start getting a new form and nation building is speeded up. Now this is if we say that the system of deen has started to establish. Wrong, non-productive beliefs gradually start to disappear and intellect and reasoning start to become effective. Confidence and trust in own potentials emerge, because those potentials which were realizable but haven't come out, firstly we didn't know about them, and then these come out. These give us tremendous confidence, and of course we share them together as well. The success through takhliq adds to our confidence, and we keep achieving success after success, because nothing succeeds like success, as they say, because the results come before us. Believing is seeing starts to take place. If you remember, Dr. Hamid put a lot of emphasis on this. There is a visible transformation in individual and collective selves. This is what the Quran declares to be the earthly paradise, creating values in everything we do. See, it becomes a highly focused and intense life, but of course with pleasure, enjoyable as well, because we anticipate results. And we already start getting those vibes or those aspects within ourselves. The Quran commences to reveal itself in the human world. Next slide is our mind is an idea generating machine. I read it somewhere in one of the papers of psychology, and I thought this is a good term. And we have an eye, we know it, and it has emotions, it has intellect, it has desires, it has memory, it has our body, and it has a world around us. So obviously emotions, intellect, desires, memory, our body means nothing if there is no world around us. Of course, we got a universe around us. The human world around us is created by these elements, and we know it. A world created through the human attribute of creation without the light of Wahi. So up to this point, we see the world which is without the light of Wahi. And then we add light of Wahi to it, and then transform it into a new creation. As the Quran says, Ashraqat al-ardu binuri rabbiha. A new word taking shape through the manifestation of the divine attributes acquired by us. So that word, those attributes, when these become part of our self and we know all of them very well and also manifest them within the word which we have, then we will understand it better and better. Now, areas of life requiring our attention are following: development of our own self through manifestation of creative abilities, educating our children, very important, that while we are manifesting their attributes, we should help our children to also manifest, learn to manifest. Provide excellent opportunity in our life, look for opportunities, provide advice and suggest even if people do not like it. Because what happens is if we tell others and draw their attention, of course, sensibly, not offensively, and then our self also develops. In our job, whatever we do, we need to be creative and we should have as many questions as possible. Can I do it better? How can I improve it for others? Be helpful and be creative in helping others, colleagues and friends. Look for opportunity to extend help. Improve thinking by reading more. For example, even if I've got a small corner shop, I should be very creative within that. There is always a better way or the best way of doing something, and we should keep thinking about it. Within our own home, look for being creative, for example, in cooking, in cleaning better, in hygiene, in better risk management at home, rearranging home to improve productivity. Be creative with time, i.e. not to waste it. Invite those who add value, not waste time. So invite those people who add value with whom you can discuss something useful rather than gossiping around and doing backbiting. Backbiting, of course, doesn't come into it. Once we have come to the Quran, we should just forget about it. When going for shopping, always ask the question, what do I need? Make a list. Park in a safe place and must be legal. Create a habit to not break the law. For example, parking a bit far away is good for health. So even on small things, we should be very, very aware that whatever the law of the land is where we are and which is for the good of people, we should follow it. For example, parking on a wrong side or a wrong place will cause hazard. Of course, it will also invite a fine maybe. But best is that we should try to do the best in any circumstances, develop it as a habit and say, I will do it even if there is one person who can do it in the world. That is the way, that kind of an attitude we have to develop. Health, be creative in selecting balanced ingredients and try different heat settings. It's very interesting that I do a lot of cooking and do try to be very creative. You will see that on a slow cooking, the more steam, it becomes more steam roaster type of a thing because the moisture comes out slowly. If we give it a higher heat, it will have a different texture. So try that. And similarly, different ingredients we can try and then taste them and then see that how can we improve it. Be creative in selecting different ways of exercise to stay healthy. Very important. If we keep doing the same thing every day, we'll get bored. Be creative. Every day add a new exercise. A mix of indoor and outdoor adds variety and beauty to our life. Watch weight very carefully. An overweight appearance does not take place in one day or 1 week or 1 month. Very important because weight is something which is within our control. And it is, of course, related to the way we eat and the way we live our life and our exercise. It's an outcome of years of poor creative thinking. I put it down here. I thought through it. It might offend someone in our panel. So please forgive me for that. Apology in advance. Be creative in our thinking. Think hard on what will be better than now under the system of Deen. Now, finally, to conclude, the visible universe, which includes our earth, is created for human beings with a view to allow them to use their choice and intent freely through their self. They are provided a physical body with a limited life, which ends with the death of their body. The possession of choice and intent means that all their individual and collective deeds, actions will produce their impact. The law of requital is put in place to ensure everything humans do in this world created for them produces a precise effect on their self. So we should create, keeping law of requital in mind that what we create must go on to add some value. The law of cause and effect in the physical world has helped create the world of 2021. Since human beings have a physical body, desires, needs, emotions, and intellect, hence they create conveniences of life during their earthly life. We see it all around that we add conveniences to our life. Those nations which acquire knowledge of the laws of nature become more creative and thus acquire more conveniences and also military power. So if we see that military power is also part of creation, and that is where it is important that we should look at that it is not creating military power, it is the way it is being used that is also important, and thus subjugate other fellow human beings for their own selfish ends. And it's not going to stop unless a system of deen emerges and comes into existence in this life. We need to grasp this part of creation and get education, then learn to create. Allah has provided the guidance of Wahi to man as an external choice and made it clear to him that his life does not end with the physical death. He has a self which has the ability to survive his death. Wahi explained the law of requital and its functioning in detail. And last one is Wahi guides those who accept its being al-Haq, and Allah invites them to become extremely creative and then utilize the outcomes of their creative activity for the good of the whole of mankind. Khalqiyat as shared today is part of the self-development process. We need to display it in our daily life and be conscious of its manifestation as often as possible. In fact, we should be conscious of it on a continuous basis. And thanks for sharing this presentation. And now we go to question and answer.